I'm going to start it again here, see.
Hi everyone, this is Dee Dee sharing another encounter from the internet. This one is from Reddit, no sleep, just the 20%. The title is, I think it was Bigfoot. And it goes like this. 2 weeks ago, I considered myself a reasonably
Tell
skeptic
me if you can
man.
hear it now.
I was convinced that somewhere in the vastness of this realm, another intelligent life form inhabited an Earth-like planet. Whether or not said beings have visited us was up for debate. Even though I had never personally experienced anything that could be considered paranormal, I had heard enough stories to leave open that possibility. On the contrary, the notion of the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Yeti, Mothman, and crypto things alike was laughable. As I lay in this hospital bed, crippled, in pain, and in fear, my view on monsters has drastically changed. I worked night shift security for a company that had been experiencing significant vandalism. Graffiti, broken windows, litter, the types of things bored kids find fun to do. The building is located on the outskirts of a small suburban area. The backside shop area of the property faces a set of train tracks, a little traveled highway, and a vast forest beyond the road. The front was offices where I spent most of my time. My duties basically involved watching TV and playing video games while keeping an ear out for any mischief outside. Once every hour I would take a stroll around the perimeter of the building. The first few months were the most eventful. It was rare that a night would pass and I didn't have to chase off some kids. The few times these encounters got a bit dicey, though. I'm not a gun person, so this led to me bringing my German Shepherd pup, Shu, to work with me. He's named after Michael Schumacher. Once the hoodlums realized that my dog didn't like strangers, they stopped coming around. The job became a breeze for a while, and then some strange things began to happen. It all started 3 Thursdays ago. It was raining that particular night. I don't make the rounds as much when it rains, as I figure nobody cares to be out in that crap. I was working a typical 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift, and the 2 previous perimeter checks were uneventful. I donned my rain gear and headed out for a 4 a.m. check. As soon as I stepped outside, I was greeted by a horrific odor. A combination of feces, wet dog, and a dumpster on a 100-degree day raped my nostrils. I don't know if it was the smell or what, but Shu was hesitant to leave my side. Unusual behavior for him. As we made our way around the building, the smell still piercing our noses, my flashlight picked up the reflection of something in the grass. It was a blood trail. Shu led the way along the path. Ultimately, we discovered a deer carcass. It was absolutely torn to shreds, blood and guts everywhere. Both of its hind legs were also missing. Once morning came around, and the evidence was brought to the building's owner attention, we both agreed it was most likely some type of a prank. We buried the remains in a hole in a far corner of the property. The next night was clear but crisp. My rounds occurred more frequently. Everything was normal until around 2 a.m. It was somewhere around 1:45 to 2 when Shu started freaking out. He was barking incessantly, and I couldn't calm him down. I walked up into the shop area and immediately heard what sounded like heavy footsteps coming from the roof of the building. A brief check around the building revealed no ladders or any other means of accessing the roof. That smell from the day before was lingering, although nowhere near as pungent. Besides my personal account, no other evidence was able to be reported to the owners. Saturday night was uneventful. Sunday evening would change my life forever. After a fairly anxious but boring 3 hours, I hear a window break. Shu is scratching at the door before I can even get to it. It sounded like a back of the building occurrence, so we quickly made our way there. Everything appeared normal. No kids, no pranksters, nothing. Then Shu took off in a dead sprint. He ran straight towards a small grove of trees separating the property from the train tracks. As I yelled for him to come back, he froze in his tracks about 10 feet from a cluster of 4 or 5 trees. Suddenly, a large, muscular arm reached out and encased his head in its palm. A quick jerk of the wrist, and Chu's neck snapped like a twig. Horrified by the sight, I let out an audible gasp. Whatever this beast was, it immediately focused its attention in my direction. There are 3 entrance points to this building. The nearest 2 are locked. The only unlocked entrance point would require me to run between this monster and the door. Since it was dark, I figured I could make it. I started sprinting. I made it about 25 to 35 yards before I felt a tug on the back of my shirt. The strength of the grip rendered me unable to escape. I fell to the ground. My heavy breathing only served to drown out the thunderous beating of my heart. I managed to gather my bearings, only to realize I was being mounted by something. I suppose it took my mind a while to comprehend what my eyes were viewing. I was being pinned to the ground by an ape covered head to toe with matted red to brownish fur. A human face with a primate body had me pinned to the earth. This creature's eyes glowed a vibrant red. We locked eyes, and it was at this point I came to the conclusion this beast was about to take my life. I vaguely remember trying to kick and punch my way out of this thing's control. My attempted recourse proved futile. My memory is a bit clouded, but I can really recall looking this thing eye to eye and feeling a certainty of my death. The giant beast picked me up and hurled my defenseless body against a tree, 20 to 28 feet up. The tree snapped in half. My helpless body served as an unsuccessful saw. I assume a Sasquatch is what broke my back and has left me confined to this hospital bed. My vertebrae lost its battle against said lumber. Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot kicked my ass. I'll never forget that smell. I'll never forget my eye contact with a creature spawned straight from the depths of hell. I miss Shu, and I miss my innocence. Well, that's the encounter, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, thanks for listening.
I'm gonna say a good hour and 15, maybe hour and 20 minutes went by. Nothing was very uneventful, and I'm thinking to myself, we're basically, just beating. We're not gonna find these people, or I'm just going through the motions. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I'm, just doing my job. I was actually sitting there, I was thinking about and recollecting over what he was talking about, what they found in the cave. So an hour or so goes by, and the comms go haywire again. And I'm gonna say a good hour and 15, maybe hour and 20 minutes went by. Nothing.
Okay, folks. I guess it's one of those nights, huh? I have no idea why. I don't know what you were hearing, but you weren't supposed to be hearing Dee Dee's anymore. You're supposed to be hearing the clip. And I was seeing Dee Dee's, but hearing the clip, so I don't know what happened. So I'm just going to restart that. This is a clip of the first shots fired in the special ops interview. And there's my dog whining.
I'm gonna say a good hour and 15, maybe hour and 20 minutes went by. Nothing was very uneventful, and I'm thinking to myself, we're basically, just beating. We're not gonna find these people, or I'm just going through the motions. You know what I mean? I'm doing what I'm, just doing my job. I was actually sitting there, I was thinking about and recollecting over what he was talking about, what they found in the cave. So an hour or so goes by, and the comms go haywire again. And my squatter he's like, oh my God, we need to get we need to rendezvous now, screaming at us. So we need to rendezvous with them now. And of course, we have to huddle together because we need the guy that's got the map. We're like, well, where are they at? And, we're trying to figure out where these guys are at. They said they're around here. So we're scooting trying to get to them. I guess I'm about maybe 200 yards from them, and gunfire erupts. And I can hear like even over the gunfire, and I can hear trees being broken. And this loud like roar. It was a loud roar. It was actually bone chilling roar. Now at this point, now my adrenaline's running, and I have no clue what I'm running into. Like I said, I was 200 yards away. We're all at this point. We're rushing to get to the rendezvous point. I even flipped my, because it was dark and I had limbs smacking me on my helmet and on my face, and I was going to put the night vision down. I put the night vision down, and it sort of gave me that. It was sort of gave me that tunnel vision. So I was afraid to run in that because I really didn't have any peripheral vision. My eyes had adjusted to the dark well enough that I was managing pretty good through the woods, and I was still hearing the sound. The firefight was not very long. It was I'm going to say it lasted less than maybe 3 minutes. We rendezvoused with them, and then hearing the guys screaming.
Well,
I'm sorry.
3 minutes is a long time to fire on an unarmed individual. I mean, 3 minutes, it took a lot to put him down.
Well, this is the reason why. This is the reason, and I agree with you, 100% right. This is the reason why.
Okay, that's the end of that clip. So here in just a second, I'm going to bring the panel in. Everybody who's still in YouTube, switch over to panel. Whoever's going to participate, I should say. Okay, hello everybody.
Hey, Rick.
Howdy.
Just two of you, or just two listening? What's going on?
Oh, sure.
Dee Dee's here.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
What's happening, everybody?
Hey.
Hey.
Interesting story.
Did you hear Dee Dee's? Dee Dee did a good job on that one. She's
she
getting
did.
the hang of the reading.
Excellent job, Dee.
I enjoyed it.
Thanks, Sean.
I couldn't hear it. I wish I could.
Yeah, I missed it.
My friend Mary Thompson wants to join in Discord. Rick, can she come in?
Yeah, sure. Did she join?
Show. She doesn't. I don't think she knows how to do it. So, if you can send her a link. Oh, it's up there. Mary, it's okay. You got to hit that link, Mary.
Yeah, Amy, how come you couldn't hear it? Was that you that said that?
Yeah. I don't know. I turned it on and off like 3 times, and then the next time I turned it on after that, I could hear it, but it was right at the very end.
It was the same with me.
Well, that's because it's a live show. You're going to hear it when you come in, you know. I do have the DVR feature turned on, so you could have like rewound and listened, but then you wouldn't have been in sync with everybody else.
Okay.
I finally got back in after listening to what Mary Thompson told me to do. Completely go out, clear the app, then go back into it.
Yeah, hold on a second. Mary, just click the link that I just put in the chat, and that should take you to Discord. And if you don't already have an account, you make an account. And then you'll pop into my server, and then I'll have to give you permission to join the panel room. You can join all the public ones, but the one that's underneath show, I have to give you permission, give you panel rights.
Amy, did you see that troll in the comments section on the show?
Yes, I heard him.
Yeah, I commented on it. I'm Katrina Lee on there. Made me so mad.
Yeah, he called us KKK, man.
Are you talking about in the chat on the live chat?
Yeah, live chat, right?
Yeah. Amy, you're the moderator in there. You can kick people out of there.
Oh, okay. So, how do I do that?
There's when you mouse over the entry in the comments, there's usually, like on mine, there's 3 dots over on the side. You click that, and then you get your options.
Okay, well, if I'd have known that, I would have sure got him. Is he implying that we're KKK because some of us have Southern accents?
That's what I thought.
Probably.
That was the only thing I could think too.
It says fake.
Like, I don't, what was the whole thing he said? He like called us losers or something like that.
He's done now. I just found it. He said fake KKK losers or something like that. But he's done.
Yeah.
Is it a male or female?
Anyway, I'd rather discuss the show rather than the troll. So you can discuss either Dee Dee's recording or the clip I just played, or both.
Yeah, the one Dee Dee read, man, it was amazing. I can imagine getting grabbed like that. I'd be crapping my pants.
It's a good thing he don't remember everything.
Yeah, I felt bad about the dog because he said it was a pup. So it was probably, you know, I doubt it was like a tiny pup, but, you know, wasn't full grown yet, and just grabs his head and...
I'm going to have to go back and listen to that, but it won't be available right now.
Yeah, you can just go to the back to the show, and then down at the bottom where the little slider is, you can just slide it back to the beginning and listen.
Okay, I'm going to go watch it because I can't discuss anything I couldn't half hear.
Oh, actually, you can't slide it back to the beginning because, remember, in the beginning, the audio wasn't working right, so you have to slide it back to, what was it, 2 minutes in or something when I finally fixed it. You'll see me pop in, and then that's when I'm fixing it.
Okay.
Me too.
And just so y'all know, in the, and I'll put this so you can hear me too. Just so y'all know, once this is done, I'll clip that part out so that the show is, you know, it starts right at the beginning like it should, instead of where the audio was messed up. You know, it's some damn Men in Black. That's what it is.
Damn YouTube.
It's the government. They know I'm playing a Navy SEALs interview, and they're trying to mess with me.
Wouldn't surprise me. Not at all.
Yeah, like you said, Rick, they're going to come after you.
I was just thinking the same thing, Lane. They caught up with him.
Yeah, they made me fat finger my settings and turn off the audio. That's what they did. It was all their fault.
If you go outside and look, you might have a black silent helicopter flying above your house.
Now, maybe that's a topic for this show is, you know, I have had that clip where the guy is talking about how they have a radio collar or shackle, really, on that Bigfoot for what now? It was been since Friday. I haven't heard nothing. It hasn't mysteriously disappeared from YouTube, nothing like that. And yet everybody else says that, man, by the time their video even finishes uploading, it's, oh, the Men in Black got them, you know.
You're just under the radar right now, Rick.
I doubt that. I've had this show for how many years now? In one of my very first episodes, I talked about having a top secret SCI clearance and I talked about the Men in Black and all that stuff. I'd be on the radar more than anybody else. They sure ain't going to give a shit about Wes Germer, who's never had anything to do with classified information. And then there's me doing a talk show, and I've had one of the highest clearances in the country and worked for the NSA and DARPA. You don't think that they would be listening to me over him?
Yeah, they're just waiting. They're just waiting. They're going to get you, Rick.
No, they ain't gonna do anything. That's the point. They're not doing nothing. It's all a bunch of hype people trying to drive their views up on their YouTube channels and their whatever podcasts and stuff. There ain't nobody doing nothing. I mean, they're trying to. They want to keep it quiet, yes, but they're only doing stuff that comes across their desk. You know what I'm saying? They're not going looking for people. They're not going and threatening people. They're just, you know, doing what they like, hiding stuff, you know. They're not telling people not to talk and all that stuff. That's just a bunch of crap.
Yeah, I was just being sarcastic.
Oh, I was sitting here thinking, I could have sworn Lane was on the same sheet of music as me the other day.
Yeah, 10-4. No, I was just being sarcastic, being a smart ass.
Yeah, all right, good. Well, I put that out there just in case. So folks, all right, that was, what the heck was that? That wasn't really the first shots fired. I meant to play that part. That was actually the second shots fired from the interview, and that was the excerpt of the shots fired that took down the first Sasquatch, and it's blatantly a teaser, but because it's going to be a great interview, and probably one of the best interviews you'll ever hear as far as Bigfoot goes. And a lot of people have been asking me about that. They want the unedited with the F-bombs and all of that. You know, I finally made it available to you. I have a thing on there where I said, if you make that one video go 10 million views, then I'll put it up. I forget what it was, the whole thing, or no, the unedited. And then I changed it to 1 million views. That still stands. Get that video to 1 million views, and I will put the unedited version up here on YouTube. But if you want to get a hold of it right now, right this very minute, 5 minutes from now, go to my Patreon account, and you'll see it. Where is it? It's actually not on here. Patreon.com/SASHYPE, SASHYP. And you can become one of my supporters and get access immediately to that entire 5-hour conversation.
Yeah, I went on that the other night, Rick, and I could not find, it brought some of your shows up and stuff, but I couldn't find the page to become a supporter. I couldn't find anything on there to be able to hook up. Now, I don't know if I looked through everything. I couldn't find anywhere to get on.
Well, Amy and Darcy are both supporters. Oh, I guess I shouldn't have said that live, but sorry, it's out there. And they can tell you. I mean, I can see it. It's over on the right. It says become a patron or something like that. Big red button. Ask Amy and Darcy. Maybe it's a different. Because I'm actually have an account. I'm a creator, so you know what I'm saying. It might look different to me.
Yeah, 10-4. I'll try it again after we get done here tonight. I'll try to get back on it and see what the deal is there.
Right. And I actually posted a new comment right on the very first page. It's right under, there's like an intro video at the top, and then below that there's several posts. I've actually posted that clip I just played is on there that only patrons can listen to. I'm going to post a few other clips that are from the interview. They're kind of like what do you call it, early access. So if you're one of my patrons, you will get to listen to the clips I'm posting before the final edited version is ready. And let me tell you something, people, it's going to be a while. I mean, if you've listened to that, well, you listened to the one I just played, you listened to the one about that has the radio shackle. This dude, it's F-bombs everywhere. It is going to take me a long time to edit this thing. And then I have to edit it down for time because I might make it a two-parter or something like that so that, you know, you have manageable 45-minute deals or 60-minute deals rather than a 3-hour sit down and listen kind of thing. But it's going to take a long time to get them F-bombs out. And for you people who are complaining about that, the reason is I am disabled. And the only income I have is driving for Uber and Lyft, which I'm actually not even supposed to say the name Uber on here. I could have my account deleted, so hopefully they won't catch that. And my YouTube, that's it. That's the only way I make money. I don't qualify for disability because I had my own company and I wasn't paying myself, therefore not paying Social Security, so I can't get Social Security disability. So the only way I have to make money is here. So I'm going to edit out the F-bombs because if I don't, my ad revenue will be a fraction because they won't put the ads on certain videos. They disable, they kind of cripple the ad revenue because some of the advertisers don't want to be on videos that have, you know, F-bombs on them. You know, go figure. So I have to get those out of there so that my videos can be across the board as far as advertising as best as I can. I'm sure some of them don't want to be on Sasquatch videos either, but, you know, that's the best I can do is get rid of the bad words and that kind of thing. So stop complaining. If you want to hear the F-bombs, go become a contributor on my Patreon, and you can hear them all for 5 hours.
Well, hell, Rick, turn it into a rap song. Turn the whole thing into a rap music video, and then you'll be okay.
Yeah. Actually, that's true. Some of the music videos that YouTube puts on their front page are probably as objectionable to some people as my video full of F-bombs, you know.
Oh yeah, no doubt. A lot worse, really. I don't know about, you know, on their page or whatnot, but I'll tell you a lot of that music that comes out is pretty bad.
Yeah, they have music videos of girls, 19, 20-year-old girls just breaking into the music business, you know, half naked, shaking their butt, singing a song. You know, I remember back when I was growing up, that would have been shameful, man. You could, like the Catholic Church, you get excommunicated for that kind of crap and stuff, you know. Now it's like, it's no big deal, but you can't say the F-bomb.
Yeah, times have changed for sure.
Okay, I'm reading. Do y'all have nothing to say about these videos while I read the comments? This guy here again, Flycatchful. You're about to get banned, buddy. You know, this is the second night in a row or actually more than that you've come on here and say I'm acting like Rick Dyer. I'm sorry, in what way? Because I'm asking you to pay for my content. That's what I'm here for, is to make money. So goodbye.
Jeez.
Well, I don't think he's kidding, Dee Dee. That's at least the third time I've saw him say that. Not on this video, but other videos too. Yeah, you know, folks, I understand that. I mean, because this is a big interview. I understand y'all are excited, but some of you have been getting kind of rude about the thing. Like, I mean, you can go through there and read the comments in there, and some of the people in there have been basically all but saying, you know, well, I can't even say some of the stuff, you know. They're getting angry and basically ordering me to put the thing up and that kind of thing, and it ain't gonna happen.
I like what Helen, I don't know how to say her last name, Marinetta. She's asking, do you think their color depends on their
Shoot, I just not banned, but hid somebody from the channel by accident because of my nerves. I was messing with Flycatchful again, and then when I clicked it, it killed him. I have to see how I can unhide him now. Uh-oh, evidently there's no way to do that.
Dee Dee.
Yes, ma'am.
In the story you were talking about, the man said he got his back broke, correct?
He did.
Okay, I want to.
He's getting rehabilitation, and the doctors say that with intense physical therapy, he might walk again one day. I read that in his comments and talked with him about it a little bit.
So, what do the authorities think happened to him?
He didn't say anything about that.
I was just curious if there was a report or anything filed on.
No, he didn't mention, and maybe I should have asked him, but I was trying to be kind of careful, you know, the way it sounded. It really messed his life up. I mentioned that maybe it might be good therapy for him if he watched the show and came in live chat, and he answered me with, you know, I don't get into that kind of stuff at all. And my involvement, or I don't know how you put that. I think I sent that to you, Rick, but something about his involvement and knowledge of it was real bad. Like it was a real bad thing for him. But I mean, I have my own theory about why it happened in the first place.
Why is that? Because of the dog or because he made eye contact?
No, because he took that deer carcass and dug a hole on the far side of the property and buried it. And I think that say just like, we have our limit, they must have theirs. And I think that's why it got so angry. They found a deer carcass in that vicinity, and its legs were torn. I think it was partially covered up, but they could still see it glimmering or something. And they went and dug a hole.
Excuse me.
Yes.
Excuse me just a moment, Rick. We got somebody over there named Brian Johnson. I think you better look at his comment.
I don't see any comment by Brian Johnson.
Really? Well, anyway, he's cussing, saying, GD, you're trying to plug your Patreon, but nobody wants to because of the echo. Anyway, it's in there at the bottom.
How rude.
Actually, it's at the top, but
yeah,
I would prefer that you posted the chat rather than interrupting people, Teresa, please.
No, I meant for the guy. And I wasn't talking about Teresa. But anyway, I just wanted to say real quick that I think that's why it was so upset, because wasn't his dog with him? I think his dog was with him when they found the carcass. And I think the thing was angry because that was its food. And then the guy goes and buries it. You know what I mean?
So he got angry because his food source was taken.
That's what I think. I thought about it even after I read the story twice. And then I was like, why? You always hear about these things happen. I mean, something like this once in a while. In fact, the last time I really ever heard about something this bad was that man that had found the torn up camp years ago, and an incident that happened with him.
So you're telling me you're hearing an echo from me right now?
I mean, it was on top of him. It was, it's going to kill him.
Yeah, I just didn't know if it was because he also made eye contact. You hear people saying not to make eye contact also. It's
that's like true.
Them.
Yeah. Could have been a combination.
But you're probably right. It's probably because of the food source got cut off.
Brian Johnson, can you hear it? Is there an echo right now? Okay, now are you hearing an echo, Brian Johnson?
Yeah, he said it's fixed.
And Mary, you just need to unmute your mic. Rick and anybody who was listening to the story about the Haints some time ago, do you remember that?
Which one, Dee Dee?
The story Rick read about the Haints, about the Bigfoot that jumped in the vehicle with someone.
Yeah, I remember.
Mary is the person. Mary is the person who sent that in to me years ago.
Okay, for those of you in YouTube, when you're hearing an echo, is when I have a push to talk for Discord.
She's got her mic muted. All she has to do is go down.
See, they can't hear me right now because I'm not pushing the button. If I push the button,
she said she was frosting cookies. Maybe that's why she's got it muted. I don't know.
If I push the button while they're talking, that's when the echo kicks in because Amy, it's actually going through their microphone and back.
This the one that Dee Dee read?
Yes.
I went back over there to try to listen to it, but people were talking and I still couldn't hear. So I'm just going to have to go back and listen to it later so I can hear.
Well, hold on. I'll play it again. All right, folks. I'm going to.
Are we still on live YouTube?
Yeah, we're still on YouTube. It's all right. It's been a complete fiasco so far. Might as well keep going.
Okay.
I'm gonna say a good hour and 15, maybe hour and 20 minutes went by. Nothing was very uneventful, and I'm thinking to myself, we're basically, just beating. We're not gonna find these people.
All right, hold on, folks. I'm adding this back in here. I'm gonna listen to the reading by Dee Dee again. I know, this terrible show tonight. But oh shoot. Go here. Back here.
From Reddit, no sleep, just the 20%. The title is, I think it was Bigfoot.
There we go.
And it goes like this. 2 weeks ago, I considered myself a reasonably skeptic man. I was convinced that somewhere in the vastness of this realm, another intelligent life form
YouTube.
inhabited an Earth-like planet. Whether or not said beings have visited us was up for debate. Even though I had never personally experienced anything that could be considered paranormal, I had heard enough stories to leave open that possibility. On the contrary, the notion of the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Yeti, Mothman, and crypto things alike was laughable. As I lay in this hospital bed, crippled, in pain, and in fear, my view on monsters has drastically changed. I worked night shift security for a company that had been experiencing significant vandalism. Graffiti, broken windows, litter, the types of things bored kids find fun to do. The building is located on the outskirts of a small suburban area. The backside shop area of the property faces a set of train tracks, a little traveled highway, and a vast forest beyond the road. The front was offices where I spent most of my time. My duties basically involved watching TV and playing video games while keeping an ear out for any mischief outside. Once every hour, I would take a stroll around the perimeter of the building. The first few months were the most eventful. It was rare that a night would pass and I didn't have to chase off some kids. The few times these encounters got a bit dicey, though. I'm not a gun person, so this led to me bringing my German Shepherd pup, Shu, to work with me. He's named after Michael Schumacher. Once the hoodlums realized that my dog didn't like strangers, they stopped coming around. The job became a breeze for a while, and then some strange things began to happen. It all started 3 Thursdays ago. It was raining that particular night. I don't make the rounds as much when it rains, as I figure nobody cares to be out in that crap. I was working a typical 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift, and the 2 previous perimeter checks were uneventful. I donned my rain gear and headed out for a 4 a.m. check. As soon as I stepped outside, I was greeted by a horrific odor. A combination of feces, wet dog, and a dumpster on a 100-degree day raped my nostrils. I don't know if it was the smell or what, but Shu was hesitant to leave my side. Unusual behavior for him. As we made our way around the building, the smell still piercing our noses, my flashlight picked up the reflection of something in the grass. It was a blood trail. Shu led the way along the path. Ultimately, we discovered a deer carcass. It was absolutely torn to shreds, blood and guts everywhere. Both of its hind legs were also missing. Once morning came around and the evidence was brought to the building's owner attention, we both agreed it was most likely some type of a prank. We buried the remains in a hole in a far corner of the property. The next night was clear but crisp. My rounds occurred more frequently. Everything was normal until around 2 a.m. It was somewhere around 1/4 to 2:30 when Shu started freaking out. He was barking incessantly, and I couldn't calm him down. I walked up into the shop area and immediately heard what sounded like heavy footsteps coming from the roof of the building. A brief check around the building revealed no ladders or any other means of accessing the roof. That smell from the day before was lingering, although nowhere near as pungent. Besides my personal account, No other evidence was able to be reported to the owners. Saturday night was uneventful. Sunday evening would change my life forever. After a fairly anxious but boring 3 hours, I hear a window break. Shu is scratching at the door before I can even get to it. It sounded like a back of the building occurrence, so we quickly made our way there. Everything appeared normal. No kids, no pranksters, nothing. Then Shu took off in a dead sprint. He ran straight towards a small grove of trees separating the property from the train tracks. As I yelled for him to come back, he froze in his tracks about 10 feet from a cluster of 4 or 5 trees. Suddenly, a large, muscular arm reached out and encased his head in its palm. A quick jerk of the wrist, and Shu's neck snapped like a twig. Horrified by the sight, I let out an audible gasp. Whatever this beast was, it immediately focused its attention in my direction. There are 3 entrance points to this building. The nearest 2 are locked. The only unlocked entrance point would require me to run between this monster and the door. Since it was dark, I figured I could make it. I started sprinting. I made it about 25 to 35 yards before I felt a tug on the back of my shirt. The strength of the grip rendered me unable to escape. I fell to the ground. My heavy breathing only served to drown out the thunderous beating of my heart. I managed to gather my bearings, only to realize I was being mounted by something. I suppose it took my mind a while to comprehend what my eyes were viewing. I was being pinned to the ground by an ape covered head to toe with matted red to brownish fur. A human face with a primate body had me pinned to the earth. This creature's eyes glowed a vibrant red. We locked eyes, and it was at this point I came to the conclusion this beast was about to take my life. I vaguely remember trying to kick and punch my way out of this thing's control. My attempted recourse proved futile. My memory is a bit clouded, but I can really recall looking this thing eye to eye and feeling a certainty of my death. The giant beast picked me up and hurled my defenseless body against a tree, 20 to 28 feet up. The tree snapped in half. My helpless body served as an unsuccessful saw. I assume a Sasquatch is what broke my back and has left me confined to this hospital bed. My vertebrae lost its battle against said lumber. Bigfoot is real. Bigfoot kicked my ass. I'll never forget that smell. I'll never forget my eye contact with a creature spawned straight from the depths of hell. I miss Shu, and I miss my innocence. Well, that's the encounter, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, thanks for listening.
Okay, Dee Dee's Mysterious Journals on YouTube. She's got a channel. Go over and check it out, people. Did you get that, Amy? Go lay down.
Yeah, I got it. Dee Dee, did you say that that you know this man, or that there might be some way to get in touch with him so he could come on here and talk about it, and maybe it'd help him?
Wow, so this guy, he got thrown up in a tree, about 20 feet off the ground, didn't he?
That's what it said, 20 to 28. Was did I have my button pushed when I asked Dee Dee that question? Did you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, she had her mic off and earphones.
Hey, Mary.
Oh, okay.
I'm here, and I did hear you, Amy.
Hey, Mary. Try leaving and coming back in, because I added you to the panel group while you were in here. So if you're having trouble, try, pop up to like campfire and then back in here and see if that fixes it.
I don't know him, Amy, but we had some communique back and forth with text on Reddit. And I mentioned coming on the show, let Rick interview him, and he was not interested. And obviously the way he put it to me was, it was just a real bad, I think what he was saying was just a real bad memory for him.
Well, yeah. Get thrown up in a dang tree, almost 30 feet off the ground. Yeah, he's hurting.
Well, he saw that thing snap his dog's head and break his neck. Good Lord. I mean, I can't really comment on it too much because I'll start cussing and everything.
But then after that, it was more or less the two other entrances were blocked off, and the one that wasn't, well, they were locked. But the one that was unlocked, he had to go past that way to get to. And he thought if he ran fast enough, he could get there, but he couldn't outrun the creature. It grabbed him by the back of the shirt and pulled him down.
Yeah, it sounded like he almost made it, but not quite.
Yeah, right. The description of the face, though, that's what got me. Almost human-like features of it. Wow.
Well, is he a quadriplegic or a paraplegic? Do you know?
I don't know. And one other person was asking him about that, are you paralyzed? And he didn't answer. I mean, I don't know if he just chose to not want to describe if he was, because I think his hopes were that he was going to walk again one day. And that was what he described, that his doctor said with extensive physical therapy, he may walk again one day.
I doubt if he's quad then. That's good news anyway.
Yeah, it's the way he made it sound. It's obviously the legs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Dee Dee, I wanted to say, I mean, that was a good point you were making before I replayed that about that you think that it went after him because of him disposing of that deer carcass.
Yeah, that was a fresh kill. You don't mess with a fresh kill.
I mean, why would they do it for just no reason? There's got to be a reason behind why something like this happened.
Well, I don't remember. Did it say it had been dead for a while, or was it brand new?
I don't think he knew either. He just said there was blood. There was a blood trail. And then...
Yeah, were they smelling the Bigfoot, or was he smelling a dead deer? Because the guts, when you open up a gut bag on a deer, it stinks to high heaven, boy.
Well, they saw it as a glimmer. Like, he saw it. He says we, because he was with his dog. But he saw it as a glimmer in the grass somewhere, So through, I guess, I don't know, maybe leaves or twigs or something, it was glimmering through. And this was like early in the morning. It was a 10 a.m. to 7 a.m. shift I think he was on. So that's what caught his eye. It wasn't the smell. It was the sight of, so it must have been pretty fresh because it was blood that was glimmering.
Looks like it would have just taken its deer and left him alone. I mean, it was a nasty tempered one, I guess.
Well, he buried the deer. Dee Dee's saying that's what she thinks that it did the trick. That's what made it so angry, is because he buried the deer.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I remember
that incident. That incident happened the day before. So then this was his next day. You see, when he was there.
Oh, okay. I would have thought that he would have still been able to smell it unless they buried it like really deep, but maybe he thought they just took it.
Hey, Mary, you have to go into your menu, voice settings, and change it to push to talk before you'll see the button.
But you know what I think? I think that the creature saw him do it. You know how they say they're always watching? If they're in an area, they're always watching somehow, especially if it had a kill. It was eating on, and the two back legs were gone. So it could have been just finishing that off and planning to go get the rest of it. I don't know, because I don't know what they eat on a deer. But he said that he didn't explain exactly, just said blood and guts were everywhere.
Well, that makes sense. I've always read that they take the liver first, but I think that's more in the winter when they need, high fat.
Right. Hey, Miss Mary, can you hear us? I guess she can't hear her.
Well, she's not muted anymore, so if she can't talk or hear, it has to be her volume settings and her voice settings.
Press the blue bar, Mary, and hold it down and talk.
She says she's not seeing it. She says nothing is cooperating.
Did she hit the connect to talk button?
Yeah, she's in there. She's one of the panel icons, and a mic is clear and an earphone's clear.
Yeah, I think maybe she hasn't set it to push to talk yet, is what the problem is.
So do you think they're scavenger eaters? So that's why they were going to come back and eat the deer later?
I mean, how do you mean, Darcy? You mean like, because I mean, my idea is they killed the deer.
Right, but eating some and then going back to it later to get more.
Okay, that's what I think. I mean, is it bears that do that, or cougars, or some other predatory animal
Both
does
of them
that?
do.
They do? Okay.
Yeah, both of them do.
That's what I think, And I don't know if the man, unless maybe someone else told him or he did a little research, it makes me wonder if he even knows why. And I really didn't want to overstep my boundaries. I was really trying to handle this whole situation in a gentle way because such a terrible thing.
Yeah, you don't want to press somebody into talking like that.
For some people, it's therapeutic to discuss traumatic events, and to others, they never want to speak of it again. It's just a difference in.
Yeah. And I caught that when I had mentioned about, in fact, the way I said it was, I know that I'm going to be asked, or I'm sure I'm going to be asked, will you come on the show to interview or just join our panel, to discuss after the video? And that's when he answered me that, my involvement with this and the knowledge of it all is real bad. And that is all he said. And I knew what he meant, you know.
Yeah.
Ignorance is bliss sometimes, is what he was getting at.
Yeah. And then maybe, killing the dog was one point to make. And who knows if the creature just didn't think he would go away. And then all of a sudden, he's running right past him. Well, then my second thought was, don't they say if you run, then you're prey?
They will make
And, and,
chase.
And did the creature mean to kill him, or just hurt him really bad? I mean, I guess you can't really get into a predator's head and figure any of it out, but I was trying to think about that, like, okay, so he's running past him, he grabs him, he's gonna make his point, well, now I get you too because you're coming near me. And then did what he did. Yeah, Brian is saying that cougars will cover their kills, but he thinks something like this wouldn't leave it where humans are often. But Brian, if you um think about it, this commercial, it's like a commercial building that he's working in. The shop is in the back. There's a railroad track, and then um let's see, on one side or in the back of the building, I can't remember how that went. And then the other side is a forest area. And then on the other side of that is like a suburban neighborhood. So I don't know if maybe just, if this was one of those beltway things, where they have the urban mini forest or something. I don't know. Because he doesn't say what state it's in. He doesn't say any of those things. He doesn't even give his real name. Well, he gave me his real name afterwards. And I sent him a clip of the video and he really liked it. But, he was keeping everything anonymous.
Hello?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't know if y'all wanted me to say something. But I think that was in the notes I sent you, Rick. I want to pull those up real quick just so I don't miss anything that I was trying to say. I just kind of make notes after I read a story, and then sometimes it's like the second or third time I read it before I say, "Oh, I want to point this out." Give me a second.
Well, actually, I wasn't. I just got back. I was getting coffee, and I had to hit the head, so I was hoping y'all weren't sitting there silent the entire time I was gone.
No, we were talking, Rick. We were talking. Somebody had said something. Gosh, was that Brian? I said something about, predators don't usually leave their kills near humans. But I was trying to explain the layout, of where this guy was located.
Yeah. I don't. It didn't read to me like it was left near humans. I think when he was walking the property, he went and found it because of the blood trail. So I was assuming it was off in the woods.
Oh, well, I can't find the notes I wrote. I think that was really all. Do you still have that, Rick?
Yeah. What is it you want? You want me to read them? Here,
Just a couple of things in case I forgot anything.
Well, I don't know what you've already said, so I'll tell you what they all say. I believe the creature was furious because of the deer. Okay. The victim responded to a comment on his Reddit post by... I need my glasses. Condolences regarding his dog. But somebody can't walk yet. I think you already said that. Oh, you said that you told... I guess you told him that the listeners would probably want him to come on the show. Oh, and he declined.
How long ago was this incident?
I want to say it was like a year ago that he made the post.
That's basically it. That's in the notes. And then he said, good luck with YouTube, and he'll subscribe. And then that was traumatic. And that this is basically a note from you that you hope that he'll heal from it.
Okay, as long as I didn't forget anything.
That's it.
Okay, thanks.
Oh, Sadie, you're driving me crazy. Go lay down. Go on. Go. Go. All right, well, I'm going to go ahead and close out the YouTube side of this. We're going to continue to talk in Discord if you all want to. The Discord link's all over the place, so you can just come in here and join us. We'll be jumping over to Campfire